सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। ॐ आप्यायन्तु ममाङ्गानि वाक्प्राणश्चक्षुः श्रोत्रमथो बलमिन्द्रियाणि च सर्वाणि सर्वं ब्रह्मोपनिषदं माहं ब्रह्म निराकुर्यां मा ब्रह्म निराकरोत्। अनिराकरणमस्तु अनिराकरणं मेस्तु तदात्मनि विरते य उपनिषत्सु धर्माः ते मयि सन्तु ते मयि सन्तु। पेज नंबर 141। फोर्थ मंत्र। प्रतिबोध विदितं मतम् अमृतत्वं हि विन्दते आत्मना विन्दते वीर्यम् विद्यया विन्दते मृतम्। प्रतिबोध विदितं मतम् अमृतत्वं हि विन्दते आत्मना विन्दते वीर्यं विद्यया विन्दते अमृतम्। In the last mantra, when the Guru, in complete resonance with the student's experience, says that yasya matam tasya matam matam yasya na vedasaha. The one who has transcended the conceptualization, not getting caught up in the word magic or the logic, all of these have a certain place and a value to it. But to experience the self, one has to necessarily transcend and get beyond it. If you look at the very cover page of it, it says it clearly there. Different from known and beyond the unknown. So this Ananda is that which is Akarana Ananda. We know the Sukha which is Karana Sukha. There has to be a certain reason. Kuch to hai. We have never had the experience of basking in Ananda where there is no reason. In fact, in many languages, we say if somebody is laughing without a reason, you call them pagal. And no wonder that many of you, not knowing or understanding that it is a realized one, we have branded them as pagal. They seem to be completely unconcerned with the world and its worldliness. it feels very jittery that they are able to laugh and smile, where we are completely engrossed in all kinds of samsara. Now, is this that which reflects on the seat of meditation as my own true nature? Is this a continuous experience? If it is a result of a certain time and space, the Ananda is a result of a certain time and space, meaning when I am seated on the seat of meditation alone, I have that Ananda, and elsewhere I don't find it, then maybe I don't really need that kind of Ananda, because those kinds of conditioned Ananda, Karana Ananda, I already have it enough. In fact, that is how I design my entire day. All the things that I like, I assemble them one after the other, so that I can pull a little bit of sukha from each one of them. At the end of the day, I conclude saying, it was a good day. It was a good day because I had several pleasant things that happened. Therefore, the day was good. I already have that kind of sukha. Is this a limitation? So in this fourth mantra, the pointer is so penetratingly beautiful, deep. Pratibodha viditam matam. There is a Sanskritam rule when we say pratidinam. Pratidinam means dinam prati. That which is every single day. Pratibodha viditam matam. Bodham prati. Pratibodha. Pratibodha. For anything to be experienced, my mind has to be activated, in a sense, to be connected with that which I am experiencing. Disconnected, I cannot experience it. Isn't it true? That I am engrossed in watching TV. Somebody is calling my name. The rest of them are able to hear it. It's a piece of news or some cricket match, the final ball, 6 runs required, you are on the edge of your seat, you are watching, you are engrossed in it. Your name is being shouted on the top. Then that person has to come tap on your shoulder. I have been calling you. And oh, I didn't hear it. The ears were open. Unlike the eyes, which can be shut, the ears were open. The sound reached, but it did not connect with the mind. It happens with all organs. Early morning rush, you are searching for something, it is right there on the table. The lady of the house standing in the kitchen, from her sharp memory, remembers where you had kept it, shouts from there, a wireless message. Kahan? Dikh nahi raha. Hurriedly she comes and, ye kya hai? Oh. It is there, but the eyes have not, the mind has not connected with the eyes, that which it is seeing, perception is not happening. So for every experience that I go through, there has to be a definite connect with the mind for that experience to be validated. Without that connection, Nothing of the outside ever gets in. I keep giving this example. When you drive, but you just had a very serious discussion, some business proposal, some project, or an argument, whatever it be. You sat in your car, vigorously thinking about it, started driving. As you approach your home, then you realize, how did I reach here? I don't remember the traffic signals, I don't remember the traffic, I don't remember. There is a shiver in the spine, a cold shiver, scary thought. How did I reach? Just by reflexes we have moved. The other things that which I usually am conscious of, nothing has been registered. Has it happened? If it has happened, please tell me which road you drive on. I will avoid it. Scary. The mind has to be connected for the experience to be cognized. Pratibodha. Bodha, the understanding or the knowledge. Through the various equipments, the mind cognizes it, the intellect processes it, and there is an ascertained value to that experience. All of us invariably are in the same plane of experience. Consistently, this is how each one of us experience the world. There is nothing new, nothing unique about it. The same mechanism functions. And for all of us, that is what becomes overwhelming and we are overburdened by it. From one sequence to the other, from one sequence to the other, as I keep moving. Because a string of all of these sequences is what I call life. It has to be this continuous experience. The mechanism is the same. Overburdened by this mechanism, I need a sense of relief from this continuous field of chain of experiences. Therefore, I feel I have to run away from all of this. Therefore, we have vacation. And most of the time, when we go on vacations, we have experience that we come back more tired, more overwhelmed. Especially if you have to travel with the family, children, friends. Vacation has gone for a toss. In the railway stations, in the airports, it's fun to watch the two kids, that many pieces of luggages. One kid wants to run here, the other kid wants to run that side. Suddenly says, "Mama, I am hungry," because they have seen something. And even though on vacation, the husband is busy on the phone. When you put all this effort to come back saying, "Now I need a vacation from vacation." And the need is that I need a sense of break from this continuous, overwhelming, sometimes monotonous, repetitive lifestyle. These experiences are so overburdening that I need to run away from it. Running away is the solution that we have found. Not much different from the Arjuna syndrome that he had on the battlefield. He also wanted to run away. He didn't want to take up the responsibility, fulfill the responsibility. Therefore, everybody in every language, whenever it is the field of responsibility, what do we say? We call the responsibilities as burden. Badhyata in Telugu, it comes with an add-on word. What is the add-on word? Baruvu badhyata. काम जो है, काम का बोझ. It is the burden of that responsibility. We feel that the entire life is burdensome. And then the mind tries to find its own solace. Sometimes it puts itself as a victim and says, my burden is the most troublesome, most miserable one than anybody else's. Or another comparative way is, my life is much better than the others. In these two phases, we try to find solace. Net result, I want to keep running away from that very field where I am because of my own past, which unfolds as my prarabdha in the present. Running away is not the solution. Now, connecting from the earlier mantra, where on the seat of meditation you come to experience it. Meditation is not a field of escape. To escape from this tormenting, continuous flow of experiences. There are many, when there is severe trouble that they are in, I cannot handle it, I am going to sleep. There are some blessed fellows, when they cannot face the trouble, I don't know how, but they know how to sleep through the problem. Probably that is why the saying, I'll sleep over it. So that they can distance themselves from the happenings. That is also an escape. Escaping and thinking that meditation or spirituality is escape from the happenings is a wrong idea of spirituality. This mantra, in a very simple, very short 4 lines, puts it so beautifully. None of us can avoid the mind and its functioning, that it has to connect with the world of objects and there has to be experience. Cannot avoid it. Even when you go into seclusion, even when you go into some solitude, there also the mind has to cognize and experience. Cannot avoid it. Bodham prati. Whenever there is a thought, whether it is an emotion, whether it is a feeling, whether it is an idea, whether it is a concept, whenever there is a movement of thought, what we do is, instead of being the witness of the thought, we become the participant in the thought. Now, becoming the participant in the thought is still better than the next stage. I become the thought. I become the emotion. The next stage, having become the thought, know not when, get dragged by the thought, dancing to the tunes of those thoughts. Just looking at the face, looking at the eyes, you can say how troubled a person is. Especially when you know the family, know all the people, just looking at them, can't we say, as soon as what is bothering you? What is troubling you? Why? They did not say it? Just by looking at the face. Eyes are the index of the mind. Just looking at that eyes, you can tell. Not only that we have identified with the thought, become the emotion, we are dragged by it mercilessly. Not knowing how to handle it, what do? We try running away from it. Escape is the only method that which we have learnt. And we call this as coping mechanism. Different people have different coping mechanisms. Spirituality is not a coping mechanism. So what does one have to understand here? The thought, the connect with the organs of perception, action and the world of things, this entire matrix of experience is happening in the presence of a certain principle called conscious life principle. Without that presence, there is no interaction. Supposing we have a fan, and the fan, its purpose is to move the air. If during the discourse the fan and speed and the sound that it makes is a disturbance, what do? Before switch off, there is one more step. You regulate it. You regulate it so that the noise, the ambient noise, doesn't become a disturbance. Even when there are some wherein though it has a regulator, it has an ambassador syndrome. You know the ambassador cars? वो चलेगा नहीं, चलेगा तो रुकेगा नहीं. The fan can either be in full blast or no blast. Our life is like that. Either it is vehemently there or it is completely dead to the world, sleeping. The mind, when it is active and yet it is not impacting inside, that ability has to be trained. It does not come automated. Whenever there is a thought movement that happens, it rises from this conscious principle and drops back into that conscious principle. There is a birth of the thought, sustenance of the thought, and the merger, death of that thought. We are busy jumping from one thought to the other to the other. Constantly. And even in that, we don't do a clean job. When I go from one experience to the other, I drag the earlier experience's reminiscence into the next experience. You had a frustrating day at the office. Who gets to face the wrath of it? The weakest link happened to be children, or the spouse, or the driver. Somebody where it is the weakest, that you know they cannot respond back to you. All of this man ki bhadas. Coping mechanism. Instead, what do we have to do? Do not run away from your own thoughts, your own emotions, your own concepts. Recognizing a thought and indulging in a thought, there is a whole valley of difference. You recognize a thought, but not get attached to that thought. Whenever there is a school, right? Sometimes it is fun just standing there watching the kids play. There is a football happening, especially the elementary school when they are playing. They are not interested in kicking it to the goal post. The seriousness of the game comes at the middle school and high school. The younger grades, all that they care about, somehow or the other, that their foot should land on the ball. Which side they are kicking also doesn't matter. They may be kicking it to the same side as their own goal. When they kick it to the same side, the PT sir standing there is "Oi, you are kicking it to the same goal post." And this fellow is completely, there is no care for it. He said, "Who cares, sir? After running after this for 15 minutes, I got the first opportunity to lay my foot on it. Whichever direction it goes is the right side." It's a chaos. Being a witness doesn't mean that you are not cognizing it. You cognize it. There is a complete recognition of it. Yet you do not allow that cognition to be attached to. If we learn this art, it has to be learned on the seat of meditation. And when many people say, "Oh, whenever I sit on the seat of meditation or japa, there are so much of these vehement thoughts. I think the meditation and japa is creating these thoughts." Well, but it is not that this is creating it. You now have the opportunity to observe the ever-existing chaos. Up until then, you have not paid attention to it. To learn to observe without getting pulled into it. It's a serious step in the sadhana, a serious evolution in sadhana. Wherein, don't be scared because you are sat on the seat of meditation, there are thoughts. Mind having thoughts, you have a functionally good mind. That is how the mind is. अब कोई मिर्ची खाए और कहे कि तीखा है. If not mirchi, what else will be? That is its nature. To complain that it is tikha, it makes no sense. That is its nature. Mind continuously flowing with thoughts is its nature. I have never seen myself separate myself from my own thought to say that it is my mind which has these thoughts. Thoughts have this content. To have the ability to subtly separate myself and observe. To be the witness, to observe it flow by, cognize it but not get impacted by it. There is something beautiful that happens when we come to that sanctuary of peace within, from where I can observe. You don't require any other entertainment from outside. You don't need the internet. The inner net is enough. Constant tamasha happening. Don't brand the thought. Good thought, bad thought, ugly thought, horrifying thought. Don't brand it. Recognize it. Don't brand it. The moment I brand, I have already slipped into the flow. There is a thought. There is a movement. Now the next step in being the witness. Don't stop the thought. If it is raining, you don't want to get wet. But you are seated in your balcony. It is raining. Do you have to get worried that you might get wet because it is raining? You are safely seated. Seated in that sanctuary within. How does it matter if the content of the thought, the theme of the thought, the vehement nature of the thought, the overburdening nature of the thought, it is of the thought. Let it flow. You don't have to be the president of the nation observing the parade going standing. Sit comfortably and watch it. Poor fellow, the president, on the march past, he has to stand. At his age, continuously for 4.5 hours standing is a pain. You don't have to stand. Sit, aram se. Observe it without branding it. Next, without commenting on it. Then there is a most beautiful thing that happens. In that separation, you see that I am distinctly different than that which is moving. Further crystallizing that state of being, I come to realize the thought, however vehement, moves only because it draws its energy, strength, potentiality from me for it to be sustained. How can that which draws its very existence from me for its sustenance be overburdening? All that I have to do is snap it out. The moment I snap it out, it does not have its own field of energy for it to sustain. It may continue because of the momentum. Let it. But then the wrong understanding is spirituality is कि हमें अच्छा बनना है. It is not the fight or the duality between good and bad. Good is a thought, bad is a thought. Our effort is not to transform from bad to good and then save ourselves to drop down to bad. That is not the effort. The substratum sustaining it is neither good nor bad. It is essentially divine. And that divinity is me, my nature. But then we are caught up in trying to act good. Goodness and badness is convenience. What is good at one state need not be good at the different state. What is bad at one state need not be bad in another state. What is good for me need not be good for you. What is bad for you need not be good for me. Purely based on the convenience, the definition of that good and bad keeps changing. Why are we running after this, which is so transitory in nature? The effort is not to be good and avoid being bad, is to abide in that which is my essential nature, which is divine. And that disconnect is so empowering. The moment I realize that with these thought patterns, I have the ability to disconnect from it, that I don't need to be dragged by it. Oh, the sense of freedom, the sense of relief. Then all that I need to do is just observe. How long will I observe? It doesn't take much. The moment you disconnect, the trickling thought goes with its momentum, dies. All that remains is pure, uncorrupted, solid silence. Being positioned, stationed, abiding in it. Letting the organs of perception, action and mind interact with the world. And you, the state of being, is unshaken by it. It is not limited only to the seat of meditation. Bodham prati meditation bhavati. Every thought, every movement, every connect with the outside world that the mind is seeking, let it. Where are you seated to be seeing, visualizing, observing that experience? Am I here seated or am I out there dragged? That is the absolute state of freedom. That is the absolute state of choice. Whether I have to be engaged in it, indulged in it, or to be disconnected. That choice, when I can bravely make, meditation begins. We sit on the seat of meditation trying hard. Trying hard is called samsara. Disconnecting and being. Samsara is not destroyed. You and your connection with that samsara, becoming a samsari, that has been destroyed. So the world for such a one is not a scary place. I think it was Socrates or Plato who denounced the world was in a busy bazaar, that which he had censured in the earlier class. He was observing something. So the students said, "Oh, you said that this samsara is, you should avoid it. What are you doing in this bazaar?" So he looked at them and said, "You look at it from a sense of being attracted to it or running away from it. I am just being here, seeing all these things which have no value to me, and I am basking in that absolute sense of freedom from all these things." Means the samsara is not avoided. It functions, let it function. Going through that samsara, suddenly an example, when you are driving on these highways, suddenly out of the blue, it is not a freeway completely in the sense of a freeway. They will put these barricades, cross sections of barricades, to slow your speed down. Maybe because you are going through a village or a city or a town, so you have to reduce the speed, they put the barricade. Let the barricades be. What do? You weave through it. Isn't it? Similarly, in the life stream of experiences, let them be. You learn how to weave through it, not getting caught up in it. Most of our experience are, we are not weaving it, we are crashing into it. And we say, there's so many troubles in life. Who doesn't have trouble? Everyone has troubles. The steering is in your hand. Weave it through. And the one who actually learns how to be disconnect while being in the world, that is when you will actually see that it is not a tormenting world, but it is a beautiful world in its own presence. Because what is this prapancha? Isn't it the expression of that Paramatma alone? Because I am seeing it through the lenses of my likes, my dislikes, my raga dvesha, therefore it is appearing like it is tormenting. You drop those lenses, that very world seems pristine and beautiful. But it cannot happen by an accident. For that to be experienced through and through, every single experience, every single movement, I need to find that stability and abide in it through the process of japa, growing into dhyana, abiding in it. Come with that abidance, the world is a beauty to bask in. You will see the same world with a completely different, like many times when I am interacting with somebody, what distracts me personally is the smudges on their eyeglasses. I'm like, या तो तुम clean करो या मैं clean करके दूँ. And once you clean it, it is so clear, so beautiful. as one poet would put it, ताउम्र भर आईना साफ करता रहा, दाग चेहरे पे था। We are trying to mess with the world. Bodham bodham prati, it is here, right here. If I can master this, nothing of the outside can have any kind of sway on the inside. Then what is it that inside that I experience? Amrutatvam hi vindate. Amrutatvam, that which is immortal, that which is unshaking, that which has always been the very substratum of your being. Atmana vindate vidyam vidyaya amrutam ashnute. Knowing that I am the immobile, constant, which cannot be shaken, is such a liberating vindate viryam. You get the courage to see the entire world and not be shaken up by it. Guruna api na vichalyate. However overwhelming, you are not shaken up inside. So sadhana is to create that sanctuary of peace within, seated in which you know nothing from the outside can even touch, let alone shake you from within. This is Sthira Yoga. Seated in this Sthira Yoga is what is in the second chapter called as Sthita Prajna Lakshana. You're completely seated in it. Nothing from the outside can shake you from inside. Knowing that the outside does not have any strength, any value to shake you, itself is liberating. No person, no thought, no word, no thing from the outside can shake you from inside. Therefore, Vivekananda used to say, seated in the self is the strength. Weakness is being worldly. He is not creating a duality here. That same world, detached and yet functioning through, is the most beautiful happening. Because you see that Paramatma himself seated in is what is reflecting out in this world of things. There is no fear factor with regards to the outside. Nothing can scare you. When you know that what you are watching is just a movie, however scary the movie may be, however gory that movie may look, when do you find that it is unburdening? It is just a movie. It cannot have an impact inside. Being the self, independent of all of this, viryam vindate. The strength is instantaneous. Abiding in it, amrutam ashnute. Now what does this process? Yesterday also I touched upon it. When the mind or the antakarana, that equipment, stops struggling to conceptualize it, understands that it is just a mere reflection that it is caught up in, if the moment you realize that there is a reflection, your attention goes to the source. And in that, intuitively you understand that I am verily the source and not the reflection. Knowing that I am the source, suddenly the reflection doesn't vanish. As long as this equipment is there, it will have a reflection. Being realized doesn't mean that suddenly the reflection is gone. The reflection still exists. I am not the reflection is the clear understanding. Vidyaya, that understanding, amritam ashnute. Now this antakarana is soaked, merged in the self. Saturated with the self. And how does this self percolate this antakarana? As ananda. That ananda which does not require a reason to be happy about. Whenever I am with Balavihar kids and I ask, how are you? I said, I'm happy, Swamiji. Why? Sometimes the children, in their uncorrupted, innocent ways, they give some very sparkling answers. One kid, with a twink of mischief in his eyes, says, because I met you, Swamiji. Arya. Some of the beautiful answers. One kid says, I am happy because there is nothing to disturb me. Now the only thing you have to understand is there is nothing that can disturb you ever is realization. Without seeking to avoid the experiences that which we assume are the cause of disturbance. They are not the cause of disturbance. Me attached to it is the cause of disturbance. Let it be. Whether I have to be attached or detached, disconnected, is a choice that I have to make. That is where lies the strength. See, when you know that in that environment, no one can even create an ounce of dent or scratch on you. Are you scared of such environment? The moment I understand how independent I am, free from all of this, that nothing of it actually matters to sustain. Whether they are not, it doesn't matter. That is when you actually celebrate life. Agate swagatam kuryat nirgate nanivarayet. A Hyderabadi habit. For everything we say party. Right? Anything. Kuch hua, nahi hua, chalo party. The actual party is, it comes, celebrate. It goes, celebrate. as much as we celebrate birthdays, it is only the Mahatmas, even on their day of death, is celebrated. There was a great Mahatma, Tyagaraja. Tyagaraja Aradhana Mahotsava. It is not just a celebration, grand celebration. Come is a celebration, go is also a celebration. Problem and trouble is only when we hold on to it. आता है आने दो, जाता है जाने दो. आता है तो सेलिब्रेट करो, जाता है सेलिब्रेट करो. Why? I am in a constant celebrated mood. Once I was in a university in New Orleans, and the students, the kids there, they said, Swamiji, you should see the nightlife in New Orleans, downtown. You should come. That's all. We're just walking through. We already had our dinner, everything was done. We were walking through. New Orleans is, those downtown streets are pretty infamous for every kind of intoxicant available abundantly in the streets. So this matted haired fellow suddenly comes from the lane, looks at us, and he says, guys, you want to be high? So the guys that were there with me, who had just attended the camp and session, they said, we are already high. So the guy says, what did you score? What did you have? He says, we are high on life. The one who is seated, the one who is unshaken from within. You are constantly in the celebratory mode. The beauty is, there is no agenda inside. That I will be happy, I will be celebrating because. There is no because. Because is verily called samsara. It's called bhava. Bhava means becoming. I don't need to become anymore. I already am. Therefore, wherever I am, is a celebration. Atmana vindate viryam vidyaya amrutam ashnute. There is nothing to shake or scare. So people have a wrong question at this stage. If I am already happy, why would I put an effort in the world? Because presently I am putting the effort, slogging, so that I can be happy. If I am already happy, don't I become lazy? It's actually the inverse of it. See, I'll give you two statements. Many of us work so that I can be happy. These are the few that work because they are happy. So how is their experience? They are not working for happiness, they are working with happiness. So wherever they go, they spread this joy, which is what was the basis for Gurudev to put the motto, to give maximum happiness to maximum people for maximum time. When can you be the source of that happiness to be sharing so abundantly? When you are abiding in it. Atmana vindate viryam vidyaya amritam ashnute. Knowing this and abiding in it, it is an uncorrupted, unstoppable, constant flow of this joy to the world around. Wherever you are, you bring happiness. The entire world of happening changes its very texture because you are not scared of it. You are now unhinged of all these various barriers. Though it starts on the seat of meditation, it has to evolve. That every step of the way, whatever I am doing, wherever I am, yad karma, whatever kind of karma, whatever field of functionality, doesn't matter. Mind is abiding in that nature within. We'll continue tomorrow. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayah, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschit Dukkha Bhag Bhavet, Asato Ma Satgamaya, Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityorma Amritangamaya. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate, Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari